For those of you that chose number 4, this was your doorway here. And it says, forgive and forget, a ritual cleansing of pain and lies. Arise and awaken, see a new sunrise. All right, we only get so many sunrises and sunsets in a lifetime, y'all. But this is about cleansing out specifically pain and lies, pain attached to lies, so that you can forgive or release what needs to be forgiven or released, and forget trauma that you don't need to be remembering all the details of, which is very important. As we're remembering traumatic situations, as we program ourselves to keep remembering and holding on to and collecting details of pain, assault, disappointments, any kind of things like that, we are telling our brain to constantly be in that traumatic response, reactionary space. We're telling our brain to continue to make defense mechanisms to cope with that. And after a certain point, when we're no longer in those situations, or when those fight or flight responses are not safe, they're not preserving to us anymore, they're no longer necessary, it becomes necessary that we start releasing those habits, those ways of thinking, that we allow our brain to rewire, we allow our spirit to let go of the need to be in a trauma state, in a heightened kind of camouflage, ultra-sensory place. All right, so let's see what other tools and other doorways, deeper doorways that you're going to go through here that will help get to that place, help release that. Okay, we have the Knight of Cups here, and I love this doorway. It's like a little portal under a waterfall. Okay, all my water babies especially, hasn't everyone always wanted to go behind a waterfall and like find a cave, or even just like a little ledge or something, and just sit and be behind a waterfall and like bathe in a waterfall? Yes, I'm a Pisces. There could be some Pisces definitely in this group. Mars in Pisces, Mars in water signs, Cancer and Scorpio as well. So when it comes to romance, when it comes to love, when it comes to even creativity, or just being in your flow, being in your own glamour, being in your own synchronicities, and like just that your zone where everything's vibing with you, it's going to be tied to this first doorway that we're walking through, about releasing pain and cleansing yourself. This is a big cleansing here going on of pain and lies. So lies that we sometimes tell ourselves so that we can keep operating in the same modes that we've been in. And maybe now, maybe you're decolonizing, or maybe you are just learning better in love, but it's hard to let go of certain lies, because then you're going to have to admit that you were wrong about certain things, or that you were acting out of trauma, or that you just, we're just doing the most, and it's hard to do that. Okay, it's hard to not be perfect sometimes. All right, Pisces, Virgo axis does not like that, doesn't like to think that they weren't being like the most sensitive or caring, or as astute to others' pain, or as empathic as we could be. But in order to go deeper, right, in order for the Knight of Cups to become the Queen of Cups and then the King of Cups, they have to allow themselves to see where they've been loving wrong, to see where they've been lying to themselves, to see when they've been putting those rosy glasses, right? Neptune rules Pisces. Some of you have Neptune, Pisces in the 7th house, or even in the 1st house, in places where you haven't been seeing your own reflection clearly, and it's causing kind of justice not to be done, but it's also causing things to not be released from the past, because either you're over romanticizing yourself or someone else in a situation, and either of those isn't good when it's time to let go of a situation, when it's time to move on from things, when it's time to acknowledge pain. So like this person, in order to walk safely to this point, has to acknowledge all these pebbles and the shallow waters and all of those rocks. If this person's like, no, we're in deep waters, like I'm so deep, and this is smooth sailing, there's no rocks, there's nothing harmful here, like you can't navigate that. So even though it's water, sometimes you're not in the shallows, sometimes you're not in the deep, sometimes you're in the shallows, sometimes you're going through some jagged waters right there, and you have to be honest with ourselves about that. So there's just a huge feeling of emotional authenticity and honesty and spiritual honesty and accountability that is going to be levels that you are being worked through and some of the doorways that you're going through. And I can see some of you are a bit stubborn. You're gonna be like, looking ahead here. But let's go ahead and see what else we have going on. So your card was Nef Ma'ert, which is like Ma'at. And here you have a card of abundance, of thriving, of safety. So again, coming out of that space of fight or flight. Some of you might not leave certain relationships or situations because you feel like you are not going to be taken care of. Maybe a lot of you could have Taurus in your chart, or you could have been attached to somebody who's very Taurus or Capricorn or Virgo, somebody who gave you a sense of stability even though the relationship wasn't healthy. And or just like a theme of that. It doesn't have to be one particular relationship. Quite often with these readings, as they're going very deep in this series, you might be like, wow, this is a pattern that I've done. It's, that's right. When I connect with somebody, a codependency develops, or I get myself to a place where I feel like I can't leave because I've gotten used to the comforts or the financial help, or just I don't know how to be by myself, and that seems scary. So there can be a lot of things keeping you around situations that haven't been the most safe or the most edifying in some ways, situations that have gone stagnant. And so the doorway here that's opening is saying that you will have abundance, you will be taken care of, you will learn to have your own stability and kind of secure your own bag if you haven't been able to do that thus far. Some of you, it's not all bad energy, but it's just that learning to balance when to be dreamy and hopeful, and learning to where to look at reality, and not using dreaminess, sensitivity, spirituality to keep you from looking at real world issues or real situations in your relationships or in your life when you need to, and then also not going to the other place. Some of you definitely here with the cards on looking ahead have a more stubborn mindset, and the scary part for you will be the opening up of the emotions. So there's kind of two sides. You guys might have a mixed chart where part of your chart is a very stubborn and cooler kind of signs that don't like so much emotionality, like Capricorn or Aquarius or Virgo, and then on the other side you might have a lot of water going on, or you could have like a Virgo moon. Virgo moons are very sensitive, but they also resent their sensitivity. So you could have something like that going on where there's both sides of the story, and so both of those sides are going to be taught how to juxtapose each other, how to find the best of each other and not be so difficult on each other, to find an inner balance, an inner sense of security here. Now we also have the 11th house, which says where the cosmos grant wishes, luck, friends, and social occasions. All right, can use some of that. We have hold your vision. Your moon card is the fixed moon. So doors of the moon, doors of the astrology houses. And then we have your guardian energy, 4 of coins. So you're definitely going to be protected. You're definitely going to be taught how to stay grounded as you go through learning how to love deeper, learning how to be more spiritual, learning how to have a healthy emotional life, learning how to maybe balance being an artist. Some of you might have that, like, well, my life's supposed to be dramatic, it's supposed to be intense, it's supposed to be crazy, okay? Because I'm an artist, I'm an artiste. And so you're going to learn how to maintain stability. And I love that in this deck, all of these buildings, that they're storehouses, of abundance, and they, in this tribe, they store them up like for a far time, like way ahead of what they need, and they put it in specific buildings that represent certain people within the tribe, and it's all for everybody there, and it represents just like so much as reflecting back to like the cosmos and their spiritual beliefs, and but also the physical representation of everyone present in their day-to-day life. So it ties this reading together perfectly, actually, because you're trying to find that balance. Like, how do I be so spiritual, dreamy, and romantic, but also feel safe and secure physically? How do I balance these wishes on the star that I'm having? Right? And it says, hold your vision, fixed moon, a half moon. People, half moons are good for manifesting because they are about balancing, right? They're when the moon and sun are square each other, but they're a good time to seek out balance. If you're doing work to help you, like magical work or manifestations or affirmations for controlling like a bad habit, a vice, an addiction, diets, things like that, it's really good to do it on a half moon. So some of you are going to be going through doorways of finally getting more impulse control when it comes to your finances. Some of you are definitely emotional spenders when it comes to your finances, or have been in the past, or there's been a it's like you'll save and go through really hard, dire times, but then you'll go to the other side of the extreme and be like, I deserve to be able to do this because of all this trauma and pain from the past. And when you get kind of emotionally triggered, or that trauma comes back up, it can be a cushion that you want to go and spend what you have, but it's also a way of putting yourself back into scarcity and punishing yourself, right? And so this is saying, no, hold your vision, half and half. You deserve to spend, you deserve to live, to order out, to treat yourself, but you also deserve security. You also deserve safety, and you also deserve to invest in your communities in a good way. So your money is so important to your energy field. It's so important to your spirituality. What businesses are you supporting? What communities are you placing money into? I feel like for you guys, especially, you have the 11th house here, which is a house of humanitarian works. It's a house of revolutions, and it's Aquarian. Revolutions and equality and things of that nature. So for you guys, your spirit will hold it as karma against yourself if you don't kind of vote with your dollar, as they say. If you were to contribute to gentrification or taking resources that harm others, things of that nature, your spirit's not going to sit well with that. And some of you have been doing that. It's hard in a capitalist society, as many of us here in the West are in, to not be a part of that before we even realize. So for some of you, that's going to be the wake-up call. It can be overwhelming. I've like, especially when I really started like only fair trade, only, sustainable things, nothing that hurts people or creatures and the environment. I was like, I remember one time I was in the store and I couldn't find anything to buy at this grocery store because I was looking everything up. Everything had something messed up, and I just started crying in the grocery store. Like, it can be difficult sometimes, but it's saying those emotions are necessary. Let those emotions pour from you, and forgive yourself in the times that you haven't done the best you can, but make those reparations, make those investments, go back and do better. Okay, go back and do better works, leave a better path. So if you know what, that's true. Like, I have made it into better times, and I only give where it feels good for me, where it feels flashy. Okay, over here is like this little Disney vibe over here, but I don't really go where it's needed. Or yes, I give what to say I give, or I give when I get to go on a trip or something, but I don't actually listen to people who have needs and give the way they need to be given to. I feel that that kind of hardness of heart, that skepticism, that mistrust of others who are in need, that fear of others who are in need because you're afraid of being in their same place, that even a disgust of that, that feeling that, well, their scarcity means that to rectify that means to lose my comforts. this whole big thing that's going to start to shift for you. More is going to be required for you, and it's going to feel good because your spirit wants to go that way. Your spirit is tired of having apathy or not going to a different level, okay? And like I said, don't try to come from me. You pick this reading. And we all have ways, no matter how much we think we're helping, that we can become more compassionate, more nurturing. I can tell by which readings are picked, a lot of people don't want to hear that. I did a video, how can you be more nurturing? And a lot of people did not want to click on that. But that's sad, because if we have loving hearts, we'll always be open to see how we can do more and know that that brings us a richer life. And that's what this is for you. This love that you've been wanting, this compassion that you want to feel. It's like, even if you got your soulmate and all your hopes and wishes right now, you would still feel only half complete. You would feel very empty. It's like a twin flame is not going to complete what it is that you're aching and yearning inside. You need to feel that you are leaving something behind that matters to others, that you're leaving your mark on the world, not in a prominent get fame way, but in a way that you actually connect to human beings, that you're actually making a difference in the world. And so to deny yourself that, some of you, that has been your punishment, to not let yourself kind of become a good person. Maybe you're still listening to old stories from when you were younger and were told that you would not amount to something. Maybe it's because you realize, like, you have gone through a period where you weren't a nice person. And this is not about buying it back. It's just about choosing to transmute that energy, release it. It's, if you have to think of it as reincarnating in the middle of this lifetime, then think of it that way, and carrying yourself in a different way. You will learn how lovable you are the more that you do these good works for others, the more that you caretake yourself financially, the more that you maintain some of that hope, not just for yourself, but for other people. And again, it's not that like, oh, I'm giving, look at me, I'm a good person. And it's not that giving where it's like, oh, I help children in Africa, or I sent, a few dollars into this or that, but I didn't follow up on the cause. I didn't listen to them. This is about relationships. Your doorways are relationships to others. But it's in a way where seeing others as the same day-to-day people that you are, the same people that need resources like you, but without resenting them for it. For some of you, this is going to be very close to home. It's going to start very much in your home. You might realize that even with your own children or your partners or something, that you can be very stingy with finances and stuff. Maybe you have that attitude like, well, I had to, have it rough, so you're going to have it rough. And you might tell yourself it's because you want them to learn or this or that, but really it comes from this anger, this resentment, this frustration that you had it rough, so now other people have to as well. And again, the two sides of the coin. For some of you, it's the opposite. You might just give everything away because you had it a certain way. Maybe you had it well, or you had it rough, but it comes from not wanting to learn the responsibility of finances. So some people that come off as being generous, it's more that they don't want the responsibility of dealing with properly using their resources. And some of you are doing that as well. Okay. So, you're very blessed and you're stepping into more blessings. If you've been in a time of lack, that's why you're getting this big talk. You're going to step into big blessings, but the universe is like, It's reminding me of like Joseph when he was in Egypt, that biblical story, and he like foresaw in his dreams that there would be a drought though. So he's like, put this much corn away in this silo, put this much wheat away, do this and this. Like he helped plan it so that people could be taken care of. And that's the idea here, is like, you're going to have much given to you, but much is going to be required. And it's not in like that, oh, I want to get rich, but it's because I want to help people. Everyone says that so that they don't feel bad about getting rich. It's not judgment on either way. It's just saying to get the best quality out of the blessings you get. Really just do good quality loving, do good quality financial exchanges, do good quality manifesting, make it mean something instead of empty oh, I want a soulmate, oh, I need someone to complete me, I want a happy life, but not actually even knowing what that means, right? So this is going to take you through the steps of shattering some of just kind of the random dreamy ideals to teach you how to actually achieve those things. Okay, you want to have a good world, you want to have a happy world, boom, here's some issues to work on, here's some ways to help, here's some places that there's not happiness that you could help create happiness in these situations. Oh, I want a soulmate who, you know, this big other half loving relationship, this and this. Okay, well, here's a real relationship. Can you handle a day-to-day relationship? All right, well, I want to have wealth, I want to have abundance. Okay, boom, here's some finances, you're in charge. Can you balance this leisure? Can you pay employees? Can you be trusted to invest back and not just, you know, steal from the earth, steal from other people? Okay, so you guys are saying hold your vision. Fixed moon. Fixed moons have tough signs. Some of you have tough lessons. Some of you have Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus moon. They have tough lessons. Capricorn moons and Virgo moons I also picked up, and a lot of Pisces, Aquarian placements. Could be Neptune, Uranus, 11th, 12th house going on. Yeah. So much is going to be required. I do want to check right here for this card just to see. This deck here has very specific meanings, and I just want to check if mighty fullness. I knew there would be a keyword here. Mighty fullness. Yes. Power behind what you're giving, unlimited possibilities, a time for seeding your plans. All possibilities are in potential, but they're not yet realized. Okay, so you have to maintain that vision from seeding everything. Some of you are just going out the door of leaving a tough relationship. Some of you are just kind of going to that place where you're like, okay, I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna allow myself to not spiritually bypass, I'm gonna allow myself to actually go out the door and look for somebody to have a real relationship with instead of just in my head. I'm a Pisces, y'all, I understand. I'm gonna really open up to doing work in the world and in my community. So there's a lot of first steps because these are doors you're going through. So these doorways deeper and deeper into this is where you're being led by the universe. So it doesn't mean boom, you're going to be perfect at all of this right away. So, you know, be patient with yourself, but it does mean that this is what the universe is going to be throwing at you. So if you have that in mind when you're doing this, okay, I'm planting seeds. I'm learning how to truly give back. I'm learning how to truly love in real time what the other person needs, what is actually investing in my relationship, not just some good feel good emotions at the moment, not just some, oh, that made me feel good to buy a cookie from that person at the grocery store to support their little troop, but I'm going to ignore, you know, bigger causes in the world that, you know, systems that are destructing the earth. No, you're going to start learning how to truly, truly care, how to truly be present, how to really hold your ground and believe when others can't believe, because you do have an amazing ability to believe. You have an amazing fantasy life, and it's time for you to bring that into the 3D in a real way and deal with what's really going on. Cue Marvin Gaye, all right? What's going on? But to bring that hope in and invest that hope. So for instance, when LA is shipping out people who are homeless and because they're gentrifying and redoing everything for rich people downtown and just sending them random places on buses and getting rid of them and jailing them and everything. And I'm one of okay, I was homeless down there. I grew up homeless, if y'all didn't know. When that's happening, you're to be the person that has hope and do a Jaden Smith where he made a food truck free of charge. It's called I Love You is his food truck, and it goes out and feed the homeless, and his is like good vegan meals, right? So that things like that, and then even more sustainable, right? We've supported on this channel, if you watch the lives, 10% of what I've just chosen, 10% of what I make in the lives, we give back. So causes like putting organic markets in places that are the hoods to end systemic, like basically starvation. The only junk food places are usually found anywhere close to a lot of marginalized communities, things of that nature. So that's starting to look more and more long term. But first, plopping down that hope, plopping down some physical, assets to say, wait. We see disparity here. And we're not about that. We're changing the physical reality. We're changing the physical structure. We're not just going to do that stuff where we say we're up in the 5D, so it doesn't matter. La da da. Let's sell something from Mother Earth and appropriated cultures on our Etsy to make some woo-woo money since it's trending. No. Y'all are going to be doing real work that really helps people, that is really actually rebuilding the world right now. And we need those dreamers. We need those healers. We need those free thinkers that can see beyond what we're looking at and say, you know what? I see you. I see the God in you, right? Some of the most spiritual people. I mean, poor people are always super spiritual. Okay, marginalized communities always got the best humor and super spiritual people out in Venice Beach. You'll find more mystics that are in tune to the greater things of the world than you ever seen in your life. Okay, kids that are in foster homes and going through juvie centers will be so schooled and know intuitively on quantum physics and everything. Like, you guys are going to learn that more and more, this sense of humility, in the fact that you meet people heart to heart who they are. And again, this isn't in that like I don't see color. It's not in I'm comfortable, I'm allowing privilege to be maintained kind of way. It's being real. It's just being real. And I feel like some of you've been craving that. Like, you've just wanted to be real and feel like you're a whole person and like you can actually truly connect with others physically. And some of you, that's been your lesson in this lifetime, is to be able to connect more heart to heart, face to face, physically, hug people, shake people's hand, be that, some of you are like, how do people get like that? Like, where everyone in their community knows them and they have people to hug and they have people that love them and remember them. Think of like Nipsey Hussle, right? The marathon continues, where he can walk anywhere around and his spirit is still around and people know him, whether it was the superstars or whether it was, someone sitting on the corner right there that needed something to eat. So there's just so much the universe wants to do through you, and in realness and humility and just like life, like real life. And I think it will feel so amazing to your hearts and spirits. It's not going to inhibit you having success. It's not going to inhibit your creative life. It's not going to inhibit your friend circles or anything like that. As a matter of fact, that leads you closer. So some of y'all, look up Nipsey Hussle and really listen to some of the stuff he was saying about being loyal. Be loyal to communities in need. Be loyal to the people. Humanity first, as far as like humanity, the animals, life first, okay, before all of this made up rankings of privilege and this and that. This is that protect each other, invest in each other. This is grassroots. This is support small business. This is my family is just like that family over there. Even though we're beautifully different and we honor that, we have equal worth. Okay, and so there's a lot of stuff like that inherently. Even if you want to believe in that, maybe you're starting to realize that, sometimes I really don't believe that. I do have some programming that has me thinking some other stuff, and this is going to be the universe taking you through the doorways to break that stuff down, because it's limiting your possibilities. All right, so if you've been thinking that, for instance, people think, if we let migrants in, my children are going to suffer. No, not so. Not true at all. The country only gets more abundant the more we incorporate vast people. So y'all already know. So those kind of concepts, those lack concepts that keep you away from others, that keep you at odds with others, that keep you kind of dry financially and things, that is going to be changed as you go through these doorways. You're going to learn true abundance, not an abundance that is like Scrooge McDuck, okay? Because if your fist is closed, it can't be open to receive anything. And yeah, I feel like the person, if you are not yet in a relationship and you're looking for things of love, the person that you're going to meet is that kind of person. They're going to be someone who is generous and loving and creative and passionate about others being treated well and about true loving kindness and good acts. Like, they'll be the kind of person that will always stop to help someone on the street, that will always have a good word for people, that will see people heart to heart, want to stop and look people in the eye and shake their hand, and just a really good person. So I see some of you, that's, you really want to open the door of love and romance, and this is all in alignment. Okay, it's not like, oh well, I have to keep all this money because I have to be rich in order to get a partner. Or no, just following your heart, being a good person, learning more and more to tear down whatever is keeping you from loving the people in general, loving the earth. It's going to help you run right smack into a super amazing person who really, they're wise, they're smart, they prepare for things to be secure. They might have a pantry full of food and savings for a rainy day and all of that, but they also care about making sure that their community around them is taken care of, and that everyone is reaching their hopes and dreams as well, and that they're leaving doors open for others. And there was another one, I'm doing this over a period of a few days this week, and there was another option that had some of the similar things, so you guys might have chosen more than one. So forgive and forget. Ritual cleansing of pain and lies. Arise and awaken, see a new sunrise. All right, so if you don't acknowledge the lies and pains of the past, we can't rebuild a new world, which is basically, if you're in the US, what our country's going through. So help dig up all that old shit. Help people be encouraged to have safe communities and harmony with each other in a very real way, and then the real building can continue. And this starts with your personal life, with you allowing yourself to open up in the pace that's safe for you, and let go of some of this pain, or all of this pain and trauma and lies that you've told yourself, or lies others told you that ended up being hurtful, and blockages in your life that you'll now be releasing. And that's the beautiful thing, because I think what you'll realize more and more is that when something that we've been programmed with comes up in us and it's really awful, if we release it and truly learn from it and dismantle it, decolonize it, right, undo it, then we're not that thing. But sometimes we're so afraid of being those things that we've been programmed to be, or that we have inherited through our race, culture, religion, family dynamic, or whatever, that we start being them, because we're not fighting them. We're not getting rid of those patterns. We're just internalizing them and denying them. So that's going to be the first biggest door, and it's going to feel so freeing for you. And for those of you who haven't felt your heart open to love, it's just going to like gush open. So if you were sitting through this and you're like, I'm not about to spend my money on others, I don't care about other people's rights, I really don't care about the environment or this or that, you'll be surprised, because when you start working on it for yourself, your heart is going to fly open like this waterfall, and you're going to be so glad. Aquamarine I see being as a very healing stone for some of you. Okay, so no more need for lack mindset. The more you love others, the more the universe will pour blessings down on you, period. Okay, so I hope that you found some good medicine within this reading. That ended up being a long one, I think, but hey, good stuff, good stuff. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Send it to a friend if you think it would be helpful. Help them open some doorways. Be aware of what is opening up for them. And I'll talk to you guys soon on another one, number 4s. For those of you who chose number 5, so beautiful. This is the doorway you chose, and it says, begin here. Do not fear what travel brings, my dear. The moment is yours. Begin now, here. Pass this on. So not all of these doorways say pass this on. So definitely share this video along to someone else, please. It is asking you to pass it on. I love that. See how the path is coming right to your door? So if you'll just go outside right there, and before you even get too far along the path, you'll already have this wisdom tree giving you some encouragement, giving you some insight before you take that trek up the hill. So yes, I love this. Don't fear, don't worry about the travel. Very much like the Fool card. Some of you are in that Fool card place. This moment is yours though. So begin now, here. Wherever you are, if you're listening to this in your car, in the shower. Some people said they go for walks and talk to the trees as they're listening to the videos here on the channel, which is so beautiful. Hi tree friends. Hi Mama Ocean. Hi rivers. Hi birds, wherever y'all are. I love that y'all do that. But this is saying this moment right now is the perfect moment for your new beginnings. Okay, you are going to be in the power of now, so much now. From now on. I can't stop saying now. It's just like now, do it now. That's going to be the answer for you. Some of you have been waiting a long time for doorways to open, and then it's almost like you've been waiting at your front door for someone to come like unlock all these chains on your front door and all of this, and all along you've had this side like veranda that was open with the path there, glorious and flourishing all along, and you're gonna be like, oh, I don't have to beat my way out of this door and go through a zombie apocalypse to get what I want. I can just take this path that's right up on to coming right to my door. And that is going to be a beautiful thing for you guys, because you're going to have paths open up for you that haven't been open to others, not in a matter of competition, but just that you might feel like, well, I would also like to move locations, but you know, this person, they planned it for a long time and they had a better paying job and their family was supportive. You might be looking at things that way, and the universe is like, okay, well, but that was their path. That's not your path. We're not taking you through the zombie apocalypse. We have a different way. Let's go now. This is very quick doors, very quick opportunities, road opening. So not just doors opening for you, but the path already prepared, which is beautiful and can be a bit scary, I understand. Now we have 2 cards, 2 doors that came from the 78 door tarot for you guys. We have tattoo, and I have had people asking about being tattoo apprentices. If you've been looking to have a door open in your career to level up from being in training, or if you've been in school, from going from that to like getting your degree or acing a test, or becoming, you know, renowned in the field that you want to do. If you're like, can I really do it? Like, yes, I can go and be an understudy, but could I actually achieve owning my own business or being a leading person on Broadway or whatever it is? Yes, you can achieve that upper status that you've been working towards. And we also have the 10 of Cups, which is so beautiful. So I see you guys having the ability to be extremely celebrated, and they're throwing flowers and not rice. Yay. For those of you that don't know, dry rice is very dangerous to throw out during weddings and stuff because of birds. They'll eat it, and yes, look it up. There could be some Aries. I'm seeing some Sagittarians. I'm seeing some Pisces, Leos. Some happy endings. Some of you have been working a long time, like saving up for a wedding, or you've really been preparing yourself, like, this is who I want to be, this is how I get my happy ending, I'm doing my personal work, I'm focusing on my health, I'm focusing on my career, I'm focusing on my studies, and I'm doing what it takes to build me up so that when the opportunity to fall in love and to have my happy ending comes, I'll be ready and prepared. And you are so right in doing that, because it's perfect. It's perfect. It's going to hit you all of a sudden. I'm seeing shotgun weddings. I'm seeing some of you, it's like for years, maybe you worked with this person, you went to school with this person, and you guys reconnect. And before you know it, a few months later, you're engaged or getting married. So the work that you've been doing to get ready for your life is really paying off. If you have been worried about saying things like, oh, I don't know if I should go back to school because it's going to take time out, and everyone else is already getting married and already getting, their life together, and I feel like I'm wasting time, you're not. You're doing the exact right thing. You're in divine timing. The time is now for you to go and do it. If you feel like, well, I've already been married, I've already sent the kids off to graduation, I've already done all of this, and now all of a sudden I want to go back to school, I want to go get a trade, is that crazy? No, not at all. Not at all. It's a perfect move. And some of you are going to completely change in the middle of your marriage, and the middle of your life. You're going to change what you wanted to do. Maybe you're like, yeah, I've been a school teacher, but now I want to be a tattoo artist. Like, some of you are just gonna like really change it up, and I love it. I love it so much. It's a really good look for you. It's a completely different vibe. Some of you are going to go from a more hardcore lifestyle to something that is more gentle, more flowing. Maybe you've had a very you've been part of a scene that was a little bit rough and tumble, and now it's going to be time for you to kind of get out the streets and into the sheets. Okay, it's going to be time to get more loving, more romantic, more trusting, more open, and you don't have to worry. I think some of you, it's starting to hit you hard already. You're like, am I catching feelings? Am I being human? I don't get those feelings. What? I'm no business money, and busy money. That's all I want. All right, my health, I just want to look good, I need to party, and all of a sudden someone's coming in, they could be a water sign, and they're shaking things up for you. Yes, I think your ancestors got a plan for you guys. Yes, it it certainly looks like it. Okay, so this other card that you got here, it means anything can be done, nothing is impossible, expect the unexpected. Okay, it is literally the all that is. Okay, it's like the dark energy, dark matter that holds the entire universe together. It's like the creation sound, right? It's self. Anything is possible, anything can happen. So I don't care how old you are. I'm thinking of like Susan Boyle, who was like on American Idol, and she was already like in her late 40s, I think, and just wasn't what people are expecting from the Western, very limited Western marketing of who can be like a pop star, and had this astounding voice that she was hiding way out in her corner of the world, and ended up being able to touch many people. So it's like there's always time and divine timing for you to come out and be who you are. There's always timing for that, and some of you are gonna go for it. You're going to go for happiness. You're going to go for knowing that time is fluid. All right. Quantum physics, everything is relative, that kind of stuff. You might really be into that right now, or actually go into that a bit more. We have the South Node here. Step out of your comfort zone. So for those of you who have been in the work phase, okay, it's going to be time for you to come out of that. You've been investing so much and acquiring so many skills. It's time to go enjoy life. It's time to go, have more leisurely time, have vacations, let your work for you while you sit back and enjoy some relationships. And I really am feeling that a lot of you either have been neglecting your marriages if you are in them, or you've been single for a long time, or just having relationships relationships that pass the time away. You've been burying yourself into work. And now it's time for you to really get out of your comfort zone and get into a true relationship and partnership. So you could have north nodes that are pushing you to learn relationships. Like maybe you have like a Libra north node, or you could have a Pisces north node, something that is making you get out of your comfort zone. It's a little difficult for you to kind of connect with others in some way. I mean, you can connect with others, but as far as when it comes to just having that soulmate, open heart, romantic relationship in real life, the things distract you. You get distracted by other parts of your chart. Some of you, like for instance, have like a Capricorn south node, something that it's like, well, that's what I do. I just work. That's what I do. And now your Cancer north node is saying, no, it's time to think about having a family, or to think about having a cuddle buddy. Okay. Time to do things a bit different and focus on the other side of the goals that you need to achieve that include others. We have the 6th house, the work, health, and duty area of your life. Yeah, because that's going to open up. So some of you have been putting things off and you're like, no, seriously, I'm not, until my career is popping and my finances are okay and my health is okay, I am not going to get into a relationship. So that is going to be one of the new doorways that are blowing open for you as a healthier lifestyle, mind, body, and soul. Is going to be a lot of Virgo energy in this. Career getting better, moving from day-to-day job into career, into long-term plan, so you feel more secure with that. We have little staff here that is your guidance here for your divine message, and this is the energy of like Usain Bolt, okay, which is like, he was the fastest person in the world for a lot of years there, and still one of the fastest. Okay, Leo energy here, very big. And but he kind of squandered himself for a while because he got overwhelmed with all the pressure of being the best and of having to represent for his country and all of those kind of things. And so he went out and got reckless, right? This is the Page of Wands. And then he realized, he had to come to learn and respect and love his gifts for himself. And some of you have been like that. You haven't let yourself really enjoy life because you didn't respect your own gifts in a certain way. Like, you're good, but you're also like mad that you're having to do it for someone else. Like mad you have to work for someone else, or that you're not getting the perfect, best, highest results that you wanted. And so I feel like a bigger joy coming into your work life, a bigger joy coming into you connecting with your health in a very divine way here. A bigger joy in you fulfilling your life goals and soul path with the North Node. That's our soul's goals. What are we here for? Aligning with that. And so this is really awesome because you guys are literally going to step onto that full vibe of being on your life path. And then it's like full steam ahead. You might feel like, oh my gosh, I thought that it was too late in life for me to be successful, but now I feel like it's happening too fast. Like, how is everything blowing up for me so quickly? In a good way. Like, what? I'm getting married. I have my own business now. My health is amazing. What's going on? I'm in a triathlon. What is going on? Because anything can happen. You're in a fluid timeline, but syncing up with your divine timeline. So it's like your divine goals syncing up with fluid time. That's what it is. So the universe can bring you anything at any second, at any moment, easier than a lot of people are in, right? We can always do that, but if there's obstacles in the way, it can take a little bit more time. You are getting ready to hit this openness and this place where karma's aligned and all that kind of stuff, where anything can be brought to you at any moment, instantaneously, as long as you're on your path, bettering yourself to your good. So I would really look at your North Node in your astrology, and I'd really look at your 6th house in astrology, because those are huge things right here. And when you're aligned with those, and your Mars too, check out your Mars, then the universe is going to say, okay, whatever they want, serve it up, boom. No hesitations, no waiting 2 more years, no this or that. here we go. Time to go, time to go, time to go. So I see a lot of success, and people are not going to like realize, they're going to think, how did you get that so fast? You're too young to have all that. And you're going to be like, are you kidding me? I've just spent the last, 6, 8, 10 years working my butt off behind the scenes to be a good soulmate. I'm working my butt off to, become someone who could do this career that I'm in now. I've definitely earned it. I've worked my butt off to have my butt in good shape. And others are just going to see like, wow, you're an overnight sensation. You're an overnight celebrity. And you'll be like, okay, I'll let you think that. But really, I've been putting in work. Okay, your work is about to show, and it's going to be amazing because you're going to finally be able to be a bit more cruise control. Once you hit a certain plateau of something that you're working on, once you get those 10,000 hours in, right, then you can just flow and not have to worry about being in learning student, someone's going to correct me kind of mode, and you can just be happy in that flow of doing things. So like, for instance, when I learned astrology and stuff, I was self-taught. And part of it was that divine energy, because I've done it many lifetimes. So I knew astrology before I knew it in a lot of ways, if that makes sense. But then practically sitting down and refreshing myself and learning it, I remember sometimes it'd be like, dang, am I going to be able to simultaneously remember all these little bits and parts? And then one day it just clicked. After I read it, study a few months, and then it clicks. And I'm like, whoa, I know all this. And that's how it can be. Sometimes it's going to be quick. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit longer. But things are going to be clicking for you. Yeah, that's pretty much what the story is. It's up, up, and away. So don't think that you have to be in this fast life, fast lane kind of thing, and keep missing out on these relationships and all of this and all of that. They're going to go hand in hand. So when love comes, don't blow off that opportunity just because of work and career. It's going to go hand in hand. And the same for work and career. Don't blow off that or your health or hobbies because you feel like relationships are, well, I don't want to mess up my relationship. It's all going to work simultaneously. It's going to be like a life on fire, burning, everything popping in a good way. Like Rihanna. It's reminding me of Rihanna right now. Okay. She got it all going on. How many businesses, relationship, going, very happy, says she's very in love, all that kind of stuff, just everything going. And finally got that power and all of her rights that she wanted after having to kind of do everything everyone else's ways for all those years. And now she can be as fiery as she wants to with all her Aries placements, like this little staff. So some of y'all about to be young bosses out here. It might have seemed like, most of my 20s, I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do and this and that. And then boom, here you are 30, self-made, making a lot of money. Okay. I follow a Slutty Vegan down in ATL, a vegan burger place that is just like taking over, just trending. All the celebrities are going down there. And Pinky, the owner, was saying how she wanted to be, completely self-made by 30, but she had a lot of businesses that she either, they didn't make it for a certain reason or they ended up closing them. And so at 27, she didn't know she was going to make that goal, but now here she is 30 and she's being featured on Forbes, CNN, all over the place. Her business is doing so well. They're opening up other places, and she can affectionately look back at those other places that were her learning curves that she opened up and all those other things that she did. And now she's to the point that she could retire her mom if her mom would let her, okay, at 30 years old. So whatever age, I'm seeing some people are 60, all different ages here. You are not too old and you are not too behind time. Like, it's kind of one of those things that 2 years ago, if you had started doing your health plan, imagine you would be now. A month ago, 6 months ago, if you had started your plan 8 months ago, imagine where your health would be now. So do it instead of waiting. So your doorway is going to be now. Do it. Fire under your butt. Move. Go. All right, go. All right, straight to Vegas. Okay, over here, gonna come back with a career and a boo. So I'm happy for y'all. This is exciting stuff, and I think y'all are really hard workers. And it's beautiful that you're going to step into that divine timing of everything. Yes. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Remember to share with a friend, and I'll talk to you again soon on another one. All right, last but certainly not least, we have door number 6. For those of you that chose door number 6, a cure for longing. Love is happiness, a spark inside. Live deliberately and choose boldly, then you have arrived. So your choices need to be made deliberately and boldly, and that is part of the doorway, because that's a heavy door, right? You have to really choose that door. The universe isn't pushing you through things right now. It's saying, oh no, you ain't gonna blame this on us. We want you to learn to ask very intentionally to go through things, okay? Like this doorway is this person releasing tension through acupuncture. Look at that face. He's not happy about it, but he had to go ahead, sign that paperwork with the doctor. He had to very intentionally say, okay, I am going to release this pain of this 10 of Swords. Some of you have been feeling so backstabbed. You've been feeling so, you might literally feel it in your back. You might just have tension and pain. Some of you could have literally had spinal surgery, but I think a lot of you have had a hard time letting go of things. And the universe is basically saying, like, it doesn't serve us to force you through a pretend closure. That doesn't help. It's not going to help you at all. It's just going to make you sit outside the door that we open for you and pout and be mad and hurt yourself some more to prove you're hurt. So basically, you have to choose that you are ready to get healing, as intense and scary and hurtful as it can be, from these traumatic situations. You have to choose that you are ready to move beyond betrayal and discomfort and sadness and all of those things into a place where you can be in abundance and where you can be open to new opportunities, and that door is going to slam behind you. So I'm seeing already that some of you are going to be leaving a situation where what's done is done. Okay, they're not coming back. It's no more letting them come back in and out. And I think you guys know that. You're probably to the point where you're like, yeah, that's exactly why I haven't let that door close, because I know once I do, I'm gonna be done, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for that yet. So it's kind of like just repeatedly hugging the same people and letting them stab you over and over, and making more healing work for yourself, because you don't want to close the door, because maybe one day they might stop stabbing you in the back, and it's just not been a very healing situation. All right, this card here that you got, this divine doorway from the Egyptian deck, is even connected with the meaning to pour something out, eject it, or to shoot it out. It's purification. Okay, it says the initiation of a new project and the right time for action, sending one's energies outward. So this is like the cleansing of once the rising of the Nile happens, and how all of that flooding has to happen, and then after that there's abundance, and the land's kind of cleansed and purified by that. The idea of spiritual baths, even sometimes painful body work that we have to get to release and get rid of these final purges of things. I'm even thinking of how, like, when we're sick, our bodies will give us fevers and we'll sweat and we'll get chills, whatever it takes to get rid of the things that are harmful for us, the things that are not doing anything good for our health. Okay, we have a lot of energy of water signs again. Oops. Okay, here we have full moon in Pisces, balance, spirituality, and practicality. We have the 5 of Gourds, which is the 5 of Cups, and another water sign, and the 12th house, so very watery. We also have air, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. This is the area of your life that is overwhelming. You yield to a greater cause or power. Okay, so basically y'all are operating like you have a Pisces moon in the 12th house, the spiritual of the spiritual of the spiritual, but the most emotional of the emotional. And the 12th house can be our house of self-undoing. So basically your own emotions are your undoing at this time, and the doorways that you are being led through is to get control of those. Okay, some of you who have had issues with physical harm, Okay, and that is something that you're going to be getting ways to heal and to come out of that chapter of your life. Okay, and the Five of Gourds here, this is coming through as the divine guide here to help us walk through these doors. A lot of the other readings got court cards, but we got this Five of Gourds. But this is talking about a group of people that would, even when they were in extreme mourning because someone had passed away or they lost a loved one, they would cut off like a nib of their finger to symbolize the loss. And so here we see the gourds chained to this hand that is missing parts of it. And just the way that losing somebody, whether from this realm or through a relationship or through a betrayal, can be like a physical pain or loss, or it can be something that people do physically harm themselves with, what either through drinking. I do see a lot of drug use and drinking and escapism. It could even be just through overly abusing things that aren't usually addictive, but anytime we desensitize ourselves to something, we can eat ourselves to sleep, over and over and again. There could even be overly doing like meditation and spirituality to the point where it's just going through the motions. What's that? Is it like, I didn't really watch it, but I think in Get Him to the Greek, or one of those movies with Russell Brand, I just remember seeing this clip where the girlfriend was yelling at him like, okay, like having to do yoga 8 hours a day is not having inner peace. You know what I mean? If you have to not stop doing or if you can't stop doing something, because if you stop that, your problems are going to hit you immediately in the face, or you're going to be a bad person, then that trauma isn't healed. And so you guys have some very, very deep spiritual, past life, early life, psychological healing. For some of you, it's going to connect with your mothers and your relationship with your parents early on. It could have to do with a Pisces, a relationship with the Pisces, or a Gemini particularly, also a Cancer. And some of you, it's just the fact of being here in the present world, and needing to be more grounded, needing to be able to let things flow through you more than stay in kind of that emotionally. It becomes the point of being emotionally self-indulgent sometimes, to the point that it becomes a bit even narcissistic. Think of the Four of Cups, right? Where the Four of Cups becomes so emotional that they don't care about anyone else, to the point that they become indifferent and full of apathy to anything that the universe brings them. Okay, so a lot of people in this group are going back and forth between being highly emotional to the point of over emotionality, and that kind of nature, just crying just all the time. It's just like all the time hypersensitive, all the time, never trying to tune it down, just feeling like, well, this means I'm a good person, so this is what I'm doing. And then on the other side are those who have become so emotional and sensitive that you're cold to others, you're cold to other people's pain and cares that they have, because you're saying, well, I've been through this, I'm in pain, I'm the one who's been more hurt, what they call oppression Olympics, right? I've been through more than you, so I'm more like this. But on the other side, there can be this smug, self-satisfied kind of connection to emotional pursuits or spiritual pursuits. So this is a release of that. And whenever we get into these little cycles, we know it doesn't feel good. We want to get out of it in a way, even if we're being stubborn and really sticking into it. So I do see a lot of spiritual and physical healing. So if you've been maybe you haven't had the funds to go and get things done like acupuncture, acupressure, massage, things to help your body release. I'm even seeing, what's that, like floating in the tank. There could be so many different types of alternative healing that you've been wanting to do. Those doors are going to open. I'm seeing some people who need doulas, who need midwives, people who need grief counselors. Maybe you're trying to get a practice off the ground to help people who need spiritual or actual counseling of some kind of nature, and you've been trying to go and get your coursework and things, and you've been trying to heal your own wounds so you can be more helpful to others, those doors are going to be open. Now, it's not going to be a quick path, and I do remind everybody that we cannot heal others in places that we still are carrying kind of a negative medicine or illness within ourselves. Okay, can't give someone the kiss of life if we have pneumonia, kind of thing. And that is going to be a big lesson in theme, because I'm seeing like the hands broken. A lot of people will say, well, I'm giving Reiki, so it's fine, I can do whatever because I'm channeling universal energy, but they're still passing along their spiritual illness. And then before you know it, the person they worked on is having the same divorce problems that they were having, even though the person never had that before. So a lot of you are going to be undoing some maybe ill-given spiritual energy that has been sent your way. This could either be through the family line, this could be carrying over from past lives, this could be you having been betrayed by someone that you thought was a fellow healer that backstabbed you and put some juju. It could be through competitors. It can even be systemic. Okay, there's definitely obviously been religious wars, spiritual battles. The first thing colonizers do is take away the spirituality of the people they colonize, try to break you for your power. So some of you are reclaiming your traditional, your ancestral spiritualities. Okay, so the universe is well aware that this is a very nebulous portal. Okay, this is definitely probably the most portally, vortexy of all the other doorways, and that's why the universe is saying, okay, you have to really want to go there, because it's a lot of work. You're going to be swimming. It's going to be just keep swimming. All right, this is the area of your life that is overwhelming. You yield to a greater cause of power. You're going to have to really trust the ancestors. You're going to have to really trust the guides. You're going to have to really trust, the true life that is throughout all beings and forms of existences. You're going to be ultra sensitive. You're going to have a lot of breakthroughs. Might have a lot of breakdowns. Okay, but it is time for a full spirit, body, soul healing. Truly, deeply. You guys might have chosen more than one doorway. So I think some of you also chose the doorways of forgiveness that we talked about, and maybe even the ones about helping others. But here it is really going to be a time of doorways opening to meditations, doorways opening to past lives, to Akashic records. If you've been really blocked in those ways, or you just haven't had them as fully opened as you know that you could be gifted spiritually, absolutely. This is like Edgar Cayce, right? He was a Pisces. He channeled in just books worth of stuff, just tons of stuff. They could give him a name, and was it the birth date? I can't remember, of somebody any place in the world, and he could break down what their medical issues were, what was going on with them in their life, advice from them, all this kind of stuff. And he was known to be very accurate. This is also reminding me of that book of Water and of the Spirit by Melodoma and Some, who we're going to read in our book club, which we will be continuing. It's not going to be our next book. Our next book is Mama Day. We're going to be starting up this coming week, but it reminds me of that book as well, which talks about how spiritual healing is necessary to have, like, if we're ever going to have full mental health, although yes, some things, medicine helps the mind, some things are very spiritual, and we can heal many illnesses by being spiritually healed. And so you guys are going to be finding that out too in many ways. So your task as you go through these doorways is going to be to reduce your self-harm, to reduce the missteps that you have with others. You guys will be reducing kind of your environmental impact. You're going to be very sensitive to everything going on around you, but you're asked to have balance with your spirituality and your practicality, to not fully retreat, to not go into that, well, I'm an empath, I don't have to worry about anyone else, right? To still be actively aware that you are having this physical existence, to still be grounded, to still think of others, see how they're journeying together. I think a lot of you are going to learn also about I see a lot of learning about spiritual boundaries and kind of misuse. And you might realize, okay, I don't like when people just come in and think that they can put hands on me and give me energy healing. Like, I didn't realize that before, but that's disrespectful. It's not a good boundary. Things like that. You guys are going to be going through more and more and getting very, very good at your gift, that you're going to start holding yourself to a higher standard. You're going to be very deep in your auric field, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, what are these things I'm seeing here? Let me remove that. Or this is a cord I need to cut, I didn't realize existed to this other person. Or this is something that lets me know that this person is a frenemy and not a real friend. You're just going to get super heightened perception when it comes to spiritual gifts, and really just have leveling up that's going to happen, especially throughout the next year to 2 years. I'm seeing for some of you it's going to be a 5-year cycle of really just, I mean, honestly, if you keep on the path, it's like 7 years, 10 years, it's going to keep going. That's why it's a heavy door. So if you are ready to truly be a spiritual person, you're going to see all the pain and all the gift that can come from that. It's not suffering just to suffer, but it's hard to see the truth of things. It's hard to have to get all of these gifts and still have the mantle of the wisdom, the mantle of being someone that others come to, being someone that is active in your community, doing healing work, and not just in kind of a superficial level. So I see some very, very deep healers here. And it's time to heal your wounds. It's time to heal thyself, healers. It's time to allow yourself to get out of these toxic relationships, playing in the puddles small time. You are meant to connect to the ethers. You're meant to connect to beauty and great spiritual things, but also you are meant to see those traumatic things and to be able to help others guide through and swim through, which means you have to let that swim through you. I'm seeing a fish, how the water goes through their gills, it goes, just, you have to let it go through you. You can't just hold that inside and stop swimming. Okay. Yeah, but this is so it's just like a deluge of spiritual information and spiritual energy and insight and gifts. Absolutely. Yes. So if you want to be the best healer and spiritual person that you can be, the healthiest that you can be, because for a lot of you, I'm going to tell you the truth, it's I don't want to say that you don't have free will, but you almost don't have a choice being so damn gifted. Okay. And when artists, and there are a lot of creative and artists in this as well, when artists and spiritual people do not deal with the fact that they have these gifts that need to come through, they quite often end up losing it a bit. Okay. And they either only can operate in a weird kind of way when they're on drugs, Kurt Cobain, okay, all water in his chart mostly, or they end up finding more peace and solitude than among others, like Van Gogh, all right, he was in Aries with a lot of Pisces, and I don't think he cut his own ear off. I never intuitively felt that, and then there's actually some historians that had proof too. I think it was Paul that did it, but anyways, yes, so yeah, I think you guys are going to be having the doors open to truths of where certain pains have come for you, certain things, why they happened the way that they did. And some of them, you're not going to necessarily get closure of answers. Some of them, it's just going to be the release of it, just releasing it and learning to heal yourself again, and knowing that it'll come back around in another realm and another time. Okay, it's going to be very next life, past life, this life, but learning to be grounded with it so that you don't lose it out the 12th house. Okay, people get too much in the 12th house in the ethers, they never come all the way back. Okay, and that's real. So finding that groundedness, and some of you, you're like, that's been my fear. That's why it's saying to find, first of all, heal your wounds so that you don't use the spiritual gifts as escapism. and really let yourself go and find practices that ground you in the physical realm. Okay? Yes. Big things coming spiritually for you though. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. It's so nebulous. I could just go on and on with the nebulous energy of it, but basically every single card is like more spiritual gifts, psychic, medium, channeler, anything you can think of. So that's what I'm seeing for you, number 6. I hope you guys like this first video in the doorway series. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you again soon on another one. Bye.